As a solutions engineer, I'm asked what is time series and why time series databases, right, all the time. So basically it means any data that has a timestamp, right? So traditional databases are really broad. They're almost like a Swiss Army knife to kind of handle any workloads. And you think about SQL, you can use any of the columns and for indexing, but as soon as you start to pull out time as the priority in the way that you index and want to query, it becomes much more performant to use a natively built, purpose-built time series database, right? So what it allows us to do is scale. Once you scale those workloads, it just enables you to have much higher write and read performances across those. So time series data, timestamps, think transactions, think metrics, think sensor data, all of this stuff. So anything coming from a particular data source, which measures something over time, is considered time series data. But it's interesting, like I was an IoT developer, so I joined to work with sensors, and then I just discovered, oh, that's why I go to Influx, and it caters for a whole breadth of use cases, right? So DevOps engineers, you mentioned, so we do a lot of work with infrastructure monitoring, so we have loads of tools which make it super easy for you to be able to pull data out of Kubernetes clusters, Prometheus itself, application monitoring, and then IoT, and as well as lots of other use cases.
Wow. So a typical database like something like Postgres or MySQL, you could do time series. You could go ahead and put time series data in there, and I guess companies do that out there.
So I'm gonna come clean now as well, because I was just talking to a colleague, and I feel like the reason that I joined Influx is because as an IoT developer, I got burnt. I was building real-time solutions, not using a purpose-built database, right? So what you find is that they work for proof of concepts and they work for a couple of sensors worth of data, but as soon as you start to scale that out, you start to feel the inefficiencies around processing, but also cost if you're running it in the cloud as well, right? So is
that what you were doing? You were running your Postgres database in the cloud?
I was doing a condition monitoring project using a relational database for about a week until I realized that it was absolutely not the way to go. As soon as you start using something which is actually tailored for that specific workload, it's just, you get burnt, and that's why you move on and you discover these new products. So that's the reason I joined Influx as well.
Wow. What would you say are your competitors in this space, if they're?
To be honest, I say this is what we say in the company as well, because we're an open source first company, and what we wanted to do initially by being open source is kind of get our name out there and have a fantastic developer experience and kind of basically become a skill that everyone wanted to take onto their next role, right? And then we thought, how do we become a business? So let's make a cloud offering, let's make a SaaS solution. So as a solutions engineer, I'm working with customers who want to develop projects. Really our biggest competitor is ourselves, right? Because a lot of the time they just stay on using open source. So what I try and work with customers to say, open source is our flagship product, is super, super capable. And we have a fully managed version as well. So that's kind of at the moment, like where we see a lot of our customers going. But time series databases, there's a lot of them out there, right? So you've got, I think, AWS time series. That's out there at the moment. You've obviously got Prometheus, you've got Timescale as well. But one of the things, we don't really like to get into like competition or competitive marketing. What we want to do is just create a great product and have our customers feel that experience. But one thing that I've experienced as well, which I've met so many people here at the conference today, and most people have at least heard of us, and most people have used us, which is great. And they come over and we say, Influx just has an incredible developer experience, right? So it's one thing our CTO and founder, Paul Dix, is really passionate about. So he kind of created it when he was working on Wall Street, right? And he realized he was having to develop these applications in order to start to do work, which were all around like tracking market data, financial data. So he thought, this is a terrible developer experience. These are the guys we need to keep happy. These are what we're building our product for, which is why we have like a whole suite of open source products which make it really easy for you to use Influx, and you don't necessarily have to be a developer to use it too, right? So we work with customers every day that say, you've changed creating a project in 2 months down to 2 weeks.
Wow.
So I'm regularly running like 1 week or even a couple of days proof of concepts for people. So
can you go into that portfolio of open source products a little bit more and sort of explain how they can leverage existing developers, can speed up their flows?
Yeah, for sure. So InfluxDB, version 2 at the moment, is a single binary. So what that has is it has our UI tool, which was previously in version 1 called Chronograph. So now it's in a single binary out of the box. And also we have our alerting product in there as well, which was previously called Capacitor. Now, yeah, all in a single binary, which is great. But the second one as well, which is extremely powerful, lots of people don't even use it for Influx as well, is Telegraph. So that's our open source data collection agent, right? Super lightweight, runs in memory, deploy it wherever you want. Yeah, it's plugin driven, right? So the idea is what we're giving you a way to get data into or move data to where you want to move it without writing any code. So I work with IoT customers. The first thing I say is, let me see your ingestion architecture. Is it MQTT? Is it OPC UA? Here's the set of plugins that you need to have a look at. And what this does is allow you to collect, pass, and then write the data to a variety of sources, not just Influx. So that's an example of us, creating another product which makes the developer experience really enhanced.
So how would a developer use this tool to Telegraph to pull in data, and then where would they sort of shuttle it off to typically if they're gonna?
So as I said, Telegraph it's an open source collection agent, run wherever you want. It has a configuration file, right? So you pick your plugin. It gives you a small set of lines to write, and you just write in like the configuration of the data source. So if it's MQTT, you write your topics in, your credentials, and then what you do is run the agent, which has the configuration file on it. The data sources that you write to, obviously it works really well with InfluxDB. So again, you just pop in your URL, your credentials, and it will start writing data over. Yeah.
Hey, I can. And tell me if I'm wrong, but my sort of light bulb goes off because I'm thinking of my own home lab, one of my next plans for the home is to make everything smart, right? I want to know exactly how much electricity every little piece of technology is using.
I know you were at our stand before, but you should come over and see the demo that we've got set up. So. We actually have a houseplant monitor set up at the moment, which is...
I love it, and I love we're actually giving away baby houseplants on stream today, so this is perfect.
You need to come and bring it over, because I can tell you exactly the health of the houseplant. So we've got 3 sensors hooked up, just using an Arduino, right? So soil moisture, temperature and humidity, and also light, so and soil temperature. So what we can do is I've just got a Python client which is running using our SDKs as well, which is another example of like how we're making it really easy for developers, right? So that demo, I just wanted to show how easy it is to get data into Influx. And on the screen behind us, we've got I'm signed into my cloud account, and what we can do is just, drop the soil moisture into a glass of water and watch it rise and things like that. So I spoke to so many guys who come over and say, Arduino, I got one of those at home. And I just kind of talk them through. It's quite nice because you see people and their pet projects, they're getting quite inspired, which is great.
So they're sensors that you're demoing now, they're sensors that are built on the Arduino platform?
So exactly. As soon as you get you get your Arduino, you can buy the sensors from online, you just download the packages, and then you can configure them in the Arduino development environment, and then I just have a Python client which is collecting from that. So we work with the customers all the time that have things like Raspberry Pis that they're using to collect data. I'm obviously focusing on IoT there a little bit because that's kind of my background. That's kind of what people use it for.
That's really amazing. So we're going to be giving some baby houseplants away on the next stream, the next interview, and then the interview following that with our founder Jona Edvald. But if you're thinking of coming down to KubeCon, you're watching from home now, come down. And maybe you've won 6 new baby houseplants, and you want to know, how do I monitor them? You should definitely go down to the InfluxDB booth.
We'll have a blog online and a GitHub repo that you can download, so you can set that up in a few clicks.
That's so cool. I'm going to be using it myself with my houseplants at home. That's so cool. What other sort of use cases can you share? Like, let's say, from small to big. What's sort of your biggest industrial application that you've seen?
So we work with some aerospace clients, right? So timeseries database, as I said before, really specialize in like high write and read performances. So one use case I find really, really cool is people that have particularly spiky workloads, right? So we work with aerospace companies which during like launches and takeoff, they need to pull out vibrations down to the nanoseconds and pump it into InfluxDB. And then when it's not during launch, they have no workload, right? So those are some of the use cases that I've seen specifically in IoT, which are towards the bigger end. And then we also we can monitor like networks, infrastructure for like streaming services as well. So obviously when you get these huge streaming platforms which have an event, like they have an extremely high workload over a very short space of time. So either you need an elastically scalable service which can support that, or a highly available clustered solution, because their business depends on the uptime of this monitoring solution. So yeah, those are kind of some of the like really intense workloads that I've experienced.
So we're, I mean, you could say that InfluxDB is in some way literally powering rocket launches to space.
I think we need to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That would be great, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the first time you've heard it here. What's
I have a shelf
yeah.
right now.
Does InfluxDB also run on Kubernetes, for example, since we have a lot of Kubernetes attendees?
For sure. So two kind of relevant, I guess, Kubernetes things that I'll bring up as well is that, so firstly, you can use it to monitor Kubernetes. Using Telegraph, as I mentioned before, you can integrate with a kubelet directly or also straight from Prometheus. It plays really nicely with both of those, and obviously then you get access to all of the value adds of Influx itself, including alerts. But yes, you can also, if you already have a monitoring solution, but you're looking to service another workload using Influx, you can deploy on Kubernetes too, right? So not only do we have like Docker images for the single node OSS, our open source version, but if you have our clustered solution, we have Helm charts which allow you to deploy that as well. That we see a lot of customers doing that.
Are the Helm charts priced, or is that also?
So our open source obviously completely free. That's single node, right? So what that does, it's extraordinarily powerful. And what we find is when customers move towards, like, they need horizontal scalability or high availability, they have to move towards one of our clustered solutions. Yeah. We call it InfluxDB Enterprise. Okay. And what this does is it has data replication across nodes, which is kind of buffered and guaranteed. So, if one node goes down and the first node is taking on the whole workload, when the second node comes back up, the data is synced across. So this solution can be deployed on InfluxDB Enterprise. And then obviously the third product that we have now is our SaaS solution, right? So this is the fully managed multi-tenant cloud version of our product, which gives you elastic scalability rather than just horizontal scalability. So
if you don't have a platform team, or perhaps you're a smaller startup, exactly. You'd want to use the cloud offering.
Which is great, because it's so it's got free tier as well. Like it works really well for pet projects, because if you just have a couple of sensors in your home,
for example, houseplants.
Houseplants, you can just spin up a free instance and you can pump that data into your free InfluxDB cloud. This is obviously where we have daily releases where the latest and greatest features are going, and then also you can sign up to have usage-based billing, right? So if your workload is scaling and you're not really sure how it's going to be forecast over the next year, you can just put a credit card on there and you pay for what you use. We bill by data in, data out, queries, and storage. So 4 really simple pricing vectors. And then obviously if you have a very heavy workload, there's annual contracts that we can run as well, which have usage multipliers and things like that for you.